It shows up everywhere, on social feeds, on tech blogs, in breathless little clips. A factory somewhere in Japan, humming away, turning out 10,000 robot wives every single month. Synthetic partners, boxed and shipped, built to replace the woman next door. It is a story engineered to make you feel something, and when you pull it apart, piece by piece, it falls completely to bits. Let us start with the number, 10,000 a month. That figure is a mangled version of a real one. In the first half of this year, several Chinese robotics companies announced targets to build 10,000 humanoid robots a year. A year, not a month. Somewhere in the retelling, the word year quietly became the word month, and the scale of the claim exploded by a factor of 12. Now the country. The headline says Japan. The factories are in China. Almost all of them clustered inside one province, Guangdong, in the industrial corridor that runs through Shenzhen, Foshan, and Dongguan. Japan makes some of the finest robot components on Earth, but the race to mass produce a finished humanoid is being run and won on the mainland. And then the phrase itself, robot wife. That label was never printed on a box or a spec sheet. It was stuck on by people online, reacting to one specific machine, and it badly misrepresents what that machine actually is. So the viral story gets three things wrong at once: the rate, the place, and the product. Correct all three, and what is left is not a punchline. It is one of the most important manufacturing shifts of the decade. Here is the machine at the center of the storm. Its maker is a Shenzhen company called UB Tech, and the product is the U1 series. It launched at the end of June this year. It stands around 183 centimeters tall in one version, it wears medical-grade silicone skin, and its face is driven by tiny motors that let it hold something close to a human expression. There are 88 points of articulation in its body. It is, physically, one of the most lifelike machines ever put into production. But look at what it is built to do. UB Tech is blunt about it. The company has stated in writing that the U1 is not a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a partner. It does not do your housework. What it does is talk. It runs an emotion-aware language model that its makers say can read more than 20 different human moods, hold a real conversation, and remember what you told it yesterday. It is aimed at single adults, and above all, at the elderly, as a companion against isolation. Not a wife, a presence in a quiet room. There is a second machine feeding the myth, too. In the northern city of Dalian, a company called X Robots builds hyper-realistic bionic figures. The kind of eerily convincing human-like robots you see greeting visitors at a museum or an exhibition hall. Wax figures that breathe and turn their heads. Their chief executive, Li Boyang, describes a future that is domestic, but not romantic. Quote, "The robot can comprehend what is happening through its own observation, and then generate contents and behaviors based on our requests. In the future, it will be a customer-oriented smart product catering to personal needs, such as housekeeping, babysitting, and tutoring." End quote. A helper, not a spouse. But put a silicone face on a machine, and the internet will always reach for the same tired story. Quick note, I'm doing a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway to celebrate when this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers. No action required to enter. I'll randomly pick a winner once we hit the milestone. If you want to follow the journey, feel free to subscribe. Now, back to the factory. So if the wife is a myth, what is really being built? A real factory, for one. In late March this year, a company called Leju Robotics opened what state media called the country's first automated production line for humanoid robots in the city of Foshan. It was built as a joint venture with an old industrial firm that used to make packaging equipment. The line was designed for a capacity of 10,000 units a year, and it is engineered to finish one humanoid every 30 minutes. That is the real headline, not 10,000 wives a month. One general-purpose robot, every half hour. And the way that factory works tells you everything about where this is heading. Leju does not build every part itself. It borrows a model straight from the car industry, the Tier 1 contract manufacturer. Leju supplies the design and the artificial intelligence. Its partner, a firm that spent decades building packaging machines, handles the high-volume assembly, running a 24-stage line with automated carts ferrying parts between stations, and boasting an assembly error margin of less than 0.02 of a millimeter. This is the quiet tell. Humanoids are being pulled out of the laboratory and slotted into the same ruthless, standardized supply chain that gave the world cheap cars and cheap phones. The ambition behind that line is enormous. Leju's chief executive Ma Lin has said out loud where he thinks this goes. Quote, "Robots should be in every Chinese home by 2030." End quote. That is the scale of belief driving these factories. Not a niche gadget for the lonely, but a household appliance as ordinary as a refrigerator inside of 5 years. UB Tech is chasing the same milestone from a different direction. At its June launch, the company said pre-orders for its bionic companion had already passed 13,300 units and set a goal of 10,000 units of annual capacity by the end of this year. To get there, it partnered with the German engineering giant Siemens to build a digital twin of the entire manufacturing process before a single line went live. And a third company, Agibot, based in Shanghai, quietly rolled its 10,000th cumulative humanoid off the line earlier this year. The research firm Omdia ranked Agibot as the single largest humanoid shipper on the planet for last year, with more than 5,000 units in 12 months. Step back, and the picture sharpens. Across the whole world last year, humanoid shipments came to somewhere between 13 and 14,000 units. Chinese manufacturers accounted for roughly 85 to 90% of them. Lian Jiesu, chief analyst at Omdia, put the reason plainly. Quote, "This is not a coincidence. It has taken many years of investment by Chinese companies. Other markets will ramp up, but likely lag due to China's established supply chains and production scale." End quote. That supply chain is the whole game, and it is where the economics get brutal. Last year, a single humanoid cost somewhere between $150,000 and $250,000 to build. At that price, the machine only makes sense for dangerous industrial work. So the entire industry is sprinting down a cost curve, aiming for a target price of $20,000 to $30,000, the point where a robot pays for itself in under 6 months. One Chinese firm, Unitree, is already selling a smaller model for around $16,000. The reason they cannot just flip a switch and get cheap comes down to one part: the actuator. Think of it as the robot's muscle, the bundle of motor, gearbox, and sensor packed into every joint. A full-sized humanoid needs between 28 and 40 of them, and together they can eat up 40 to 60% of the entire cost of the machine. Crack the actuator, and you crack the price. Fail to, and the whole dream stays stuck in the lab, and inside that actuator sit 2 choke points that no amount of ambition can wish away. The first is the precision gearbox, the harmonic drive, a component that demands almost unreal metallurgical accuracy. For years, that market was dominated by Japanese firms. Chinese companies are now racing to build their own, pricing them far below the Japanese benchmark, and in doing so, they are quietly splitting the global supply chain in 2. The second choke point is deeper still and more geopolitical. Every one of those motors relies on high-performance magnets made from rare earth metals, and China presently controls around 70% of the world's rare earth mining and an overwhelming 90 to 94% of the refining and magnet production that turns raw ore into a finished magnet. Analysts warn that the West may lead the world in designing the artificial mines and still end up importing the actual physical bodies simply because it cannot make the magnets at scale. Which brings us to the question the sensational headline never bothers to ask. Why? Why pour this much money and engineering into building companion machines at all? The answer is not fantasy. It is arithmetic. A demographic wave is breaking across East Asia, and the numbers are stark. Japan already has the oldest population on Earth, with more than 29% of its people over 65, and its health ministry flagged a shortage of 400,000 caregivers. South Korea has crossed into what demographers call super-aged status, with a birth rate near 0.75, and faces a projected shortfall of over 1.5 million care staff within a decade. In China, tens of millions of seniors already live alone, and the figure for empty nest households runs past 100 million. These robots are being aimed straight at that gap. A machine that can remind someone to take their medication, notice when they have fallen, and hold a patient, unhurried conversation without ever burning out. To a health ministry staring down a caregiver shortage it has no other way to fill, that is not a novelty. It is a lifeline. UB Tech alone estimates the market for these machines could grow into a sector worth well over $100 billion within 10 years. But nobody serious is pretending this is simple. The skeptics are loud, and they are worth hearing. Sam Sachs, a senior fellow at the think tank New America, cut through the hype. Quote, The economics are tough. Humanoid robots remain expensive to produce, fragile in operation, and dependent on highly structured environments to function. There's a long way to go to get to a level of functionality where people will actually feel comfortable having them in their homes providing care for elderly or children." End quote. And even if you can build them, you still have to sell them. Chibo Tang, a managing partner at the investment firm Gobi Partners, pointed at the hole in the middle of the whole boom. Quote, "Without the demand, and without that scale from the market, these companies are not able to really go into mass production. The use cases of these robots are still so limited." End quote. In other words, the factories may be able to make 10,000 a year long before there are 10,000 buyers a year to want them. There is one more piece of reality worth knowing, and the makers rarely put it on the poster. Some of these early home robots are not fully autonomous at all. Bernd Bernick, the chief executive of the robotics firm 1X, has been candid that early buyers must accept that human teleoperators will sometimes see into their home because the machine is shipping partly autonomous, mostly assisted, and the assistance is a person, quietly steering from somewhere else. The lifelike body moving through your living room may, for now, have a human being behind its eyes. There is a quieter worry underneath all of this too. When you build a machine this convincing and hand it to someone who is lonely, you risk a person pouring real feeling into something engineered only to simulate it. That is a genuine ethical fault line, and it deserves honesty, not hype. The most thoughtful people in this field are not asking whether the robots can fake warmth. They are asking what it means for us that so many people now need them to. So no, there is no Japanese factory stamping out 10,000 robot wives a month. That headline is a fantasy stitched together from a real country, a real number, and a real machine, all twisted out of shape. But the thing underneath it is real, and it is arguably stranger than the myth. An entire industrial civilization is being retooled, joint by joint and magnet by magnet, to manufacture company for the people it can no longer care for. The line the world just crossed was never about marriage. It was about building a factory for loneliness itself. And the only honest question left is whether that is a triumph, a tragedy, or quietly, both at once.